Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to the Channel Tunnel crossing at Folkestone and the beginning of a video with a bit of a difference because I'm driving that. Yeah, a 7.5 metre long Adria Matrix motorhome. We're off on our hollybobs for the next 10 days. In fact, look, there's Mrs. Greaves and the pups going to get a drink. So I thought you would like to come along for the ride. This thing is spectacular and I will show you around, but the first thing we need to do is go and raid the Flexi Plus Lounge, and then when we're en route I'll tell you a little bit more about our adventures that we've got planned for the next 10 days. So we are now, we've just boarded the train. You all right there, Greavesy?
All good.
It's dead flash. Look, I've got these captain seats so I can swivel round. Now, I'm not going to show you too much what's that way because I want some nice light to do that. But I will update you. We are on our way. First stop is Le Touquet, where we've got a campsite booked and a pitch and everything. So we're looking forward to that. And the girls are down there chilling out for the journey. So yeah, the next time I'll show you around everything when we get to Le Touquet. Now then, it's now actually nearly a week later. We're at campsite number 4. To be honest, we got to Le Touquet and I was just enjoying being on holiday so much. The last thing I wanted to do was get my camera out the bag and start making a video. But I did want to do a quick review of the van and just talk a little bit about what it's like going on a motorhome holiday, because this is Tracey and I's first attempt at doing this motorhome thing. And honestly, we found it a huge amount of fun. We've learned quite a lot, and the van, not really a van, is it? It's a 7.5 metre long Matrix by Adria. The company is called Adria. They're made in Slovenia, I think. Amazing, amazing bit of kit. So let me just walk you around very briefly. I guess we'll start with some storage first, because if you're coming on holiday, you need to store lots and lots of stuff. And there is a massive storage area in the back. This is technically, I think they call it a bike garage. But in there, we've got all of our spare bags. The tables and chairs go in there. In this box here, we've got all the sort of plates and the glasses, and you put those away so they don't rattle around as you drive along in the countryside. But there's a huge amount of storage space in there. Come along the side. Now, we're not allowed to barbecue in this particular part of France because of the fire risk, so we've hired ourselves a gas barbecue. The girls are loving the whole experience. We've got one sat down here, the other one over there. What are you doing over there, Bobs? Come on. There you go. They've been amazing. They just kind of seem to know what the score is. So let me just take you in. I guess the first thing is first, you've got an electrical hookup in there. So as soon as you come to a campsite, the first thing you do, you get a pitch with electric on it. We've got an electric cable running around the side of the pitch, and the hookup is just behind the camera. But let's go inside and I'll show you around in here because it is pretty special. So first things first, the driving compartment there, these are what we call captain seats. They can spin round. I've spun that one round so you can, so it just creates a little bit more seating if you want. There's only the two of us, so we haven't really needed to use that. I'll talk to you more about what this is like to drive tomorrow when we're on our way. And then the main seating area here, you've got a table, and you can basically have that set down. I'll just show you because it's super easy. Pull that out and you've basically got a table there so you can have food inside. We haven't had to do that really very much. We've been eating outside. And then I won't do it, but this bit here is a bed. So there's a button just under here, and this whole roof panel and these storage lockers come down, and that forms a double bed. If you got 4 people, it will sleep 4, this vehicle, which is really cool. And then here, full kitchen. We're on gas, so you've got a gas hob, gas cooker, and then here, the most important thing, if my able camera woman comes in, look, there we go, is you've got the biggest fridge and an ice compartment with ice creams and ice for gin and tonic. And that will run off of the electric hookup, it'll run off the battery when you're driving, and it can run off the gas as well. And come along here, this is the boudoir, so double bed. It's actually back in the kind of drive position. You can pull it forward and and the backdrop, so you just got a little bit more space. Loads and loads of storage in here, all of these cabinets, you can hang clothes and stuff. And most importantly on the roof is an air conditioning unit. So it's been pretty hot. When we were down a bit further south near Bordeaux, it was 30 odd degrees outside, and that kept us lovely and cool. And the last thing is in here, got a loo. Talk to you about the chemical loo a bit later. We've got a toilet. Mrs. Greaves can wave, look, you can see. Camera that way. Hello. You're good at this. And then on this side, power shower. So you've got all of the mod cons. It's really lovely in there. So you can, you know, at the end of your day, you can have a really lovely shower. So it's a little bit, it's cheating really, this whole camping thing. But yes, anyway, there you go. That is the Adria Matrix. But we are now going to have some dinner. And then tomorrow, so we're currently on Ile de Ré, which is just to the west of La Rochelle. Tomorrow we're driving up north. We're kind of starting to make our way home. So on our way, I'm going to have a chat with you about what it's like to drive, but also I want to kind of just talk about what you need to do when you arrive on site, when you leave on site, in terms of just living with one of these. It's so simple. And also because we've got the dogs with us and we're in France, I thought it might be useful to very briefly talk about what we have to do to get the dogs here. But that's it. Now then, camera man, should we have some wine?
Excellent idea.
Good morning. It is now the next day and it's time to break camp and head to another campsite. We're actually heading up north. We're going to a campsite just outside of Tours. Now, I haven't been to Tours for like 30 years, so I'm really looking forward to going back there. But now is the time you have to do all your little jobs. So really important jobs. The puppies have been fed, but it's about packing stuff away. You can keep all of the crockery and glasses and stuff in the cupboards in the van if you wanted to, but you tend to find that they'll rattle quite a lot when you're driving along. So the guys at Nomad have provided this box, and there's little packages in there to layer the plates with packaging so they don't get broken and they don't rattle. So we basically put everything into the back there, although most of it, all the food stays in the fridge. And then the really important jobs we need to do, the chemical loo, that needs to be emptied every morning. It lasts about a day, day and a half perhaps. And then we've got a huge water tank on here for the shower and all the running water. So I need to fill that up before I leave the camp. And also there's the what's called grey water, so when you've run the shower or you've emptied the sink, that goes into another tank and you need to empty that before you head off. So they're all the things you need to do before you get cracking. So I thought I'd just show you very briefly, apart from the fact I'm probably not going to show you the detail of emptying the chemical toilet. So yeah, the toilet is a very simple cassette toilet, pretty standard fit on motorhomes. We used to have one of these in our horse box. They're not actually that horrible and stuff to empty. It's a very simple process, so I'm going to go and do that now, but I won't show you that on camera. You will be pleased to know. Chemical toilet done. I'm basically a chemical toilet emptying ninja by now, but the last thing I always forget to do this is I've got to remember to turn off the gas. Now I've got 2 gas tanks in here. We're only using gas for cooking on the hob, and really that's just boiling the kettle in the morning. So before you travel, you just turn off that, and then it's safe to travel. And then also just make sure you lock all of these doors. That's about that. So that's gas done, chemical toilet done. Next thing, wander around here, Tracy's already put all the tables and chairs away, is the electrical hookup. Electrical hookup is in here. So that is super simple. So basically got a cable in there and it's connected to that very dodgy looking electrical station over there. So I'm just going to take the cable out. Now the van now will now run on its leisure battery that it's got, and then once we start the journey, things like the fridge will run off of the leisure battery. So you could go wild camping in this. It doesn't have a generator like a petrol powered generator. You could spec one if you were buying one yourself, but the guys didn't, because most of the time these vans go to campsites where you've got electrical hookup and everything just runs off the electric. But that is super simple. And then the last thing I need to do before we go off and do the water is, you'll notice I parked it up on a little set of ramps just to level the van off. So when you get to a site, you've got a little spirit level in the van, and you just work out whether you're down on the nose or up on the nose, and then you just use those little wedges to get the van as level as possible. Otherwise, it's just when you're in the van and you're sleeping and the bed's not level, you can notice it straight away. But the most important thing is just making sure things like water drains properly down the plugs and stuff. That's super simple. So I'll put the cables away, and then once Tracy's back from dropping a few bits off at the recycle and taking the dogs for a little leg stretch, we are off to the vets. Now then, at every campsite you go to, there'll be one of these, what's called a grey water area. But one of the things we've noticed in France, now we're looking for them, is they're everywhere. Most motorway service stations have a grey water area. We even saw one in a Carrefour car park. So basically we're going to do two things here. First things we're doing it now, we're filling up the fresh water tank on the lorry, which is huge. That powers the shower, it powers the wash hand basins in the toilet and in the kitchen, and it also powers the flush on the toilet. And we worked out that water, it lasts about 2 days. You kind of work out how to do your showers. You turn the water off when you're putting your kind of, you know, shampoo on and your shower gel on, and then just rinse yourself off, and that way the water lasts as long as it can. But we've been here 2 days and we haven't topped the water up. There is a level monitor in the van. We were about 25% of water left. And there's also a water for your grey water to tell you how much is in the tank. We're about 50%. Now underneath that front end of the car is a drainage cover to empty the grey water out of the van. There's a little relief button in the front of the van. So once we've filled up, what I'm probably going to have to do, because of the design of this grey water, I think I'm going to have to back out, turn round and back in so that we can empty the grey water properly. On our way. Now we've got an appointment at the local vet, so we're hightailing it to Saint-Martin. But I thought I'd very briefly talk about, well, number one, most important thing, happy birthday, Mrs. Greaves.
Thanks.
It's Tracy's birthday today. But yes, when you bring your dogs away, it's changed a little bit. When we were part of the EU, our dog had a pet passport and the vet stamped vaccination stamped in the passport, and that's all you needed. Now you have to get some special paperwork drawn up. They still need to be fully vaccinated for all their normal jabs and rabies. You get some paperwork drawn up before you leave the
Average
UK.
speed check zone ahead.
Oh, thanks.
Average speed check zone ahead.
It's very keen on the average speed check zone.
Very keen.
So you get your paperwork drawn up. It's about 150 quid for the 2 dogs. You have to do that within 10 days of leaving. It's only valid for 1 trip and 3 months. And then when you're coming home, within 5 days of coming home, you have to go to a local vet, and they basically inspect the dogs, check their chips, and then give them a special worming tablet, sign the paperwork, and then when you get back to Calais, in our case before we get on the tunnel,
speed check zone.
they check the paperwork and you come home. If you haven't done that, you can't travel. So it's super important. It's dead easy to find a vet. We just Googled it yesterday, rang them. I speak a bit of French, they spoke a bit of English. We organised it all okay. So we're on our way now. It's only about, there's lots of speed cameras, but Ile de Ré, how beautiful is Ile de Ré? It's so lovely. We're on you can't really see, to the right of the road is basically the ocean. That is a kind of sand bank, and then there'll be a beach just the other side. And then over here there's all these kind of salt marshes, a combination of like wildlife preserves, and they do all kinds of things like produce sea minerals and things. But yeah, really beautiful. But we'll get to the vet, and then once we've been to the vet, I'll have a chat with you about just how easy it is driving this truck, because it's a piece of cake, isn't it?
Yep.
All done.
I know.
It was actually very easy. Super lovely vet in Saint-Martin, Ile de Ré. I think that costs about 65 euros. So they basically do a quick check of a dog, check his temperature, weigh it. Darcy's overweight. We don't hardly feed or anything. Anyway, so we're on our way. So I thought I'd tell you, or talk to you a bit about what it's like to drive this big motorhome. It's based on a Fiat chassis cab. This one, I think it was James from Nomad Motorhome said it was 160 horsepower. It's got a 9-speed auto box, and basically it's like driving a big car. You have to be quite wary of its length. It hangs out over the rear axle quite a lot, so on tight corners you just have to make sure you're aware that the back will swing out a little bit. And then obviously it's quite a wide vehicle, so when you come up to roundabouts, we're turning right here, got my navigator next to me, you just have to it's all about being super smooth. It's actually a really good kind of advanced motoring master's test because it's smooth application of the throttle, smooth application of the brakes, slow into corners because you've got a lot of weight, but there's also things that rattle around and you just want to be as nice and as smooth as possible. But it is quite easy to drive. You've enjoyed driving it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really quite similar to driving a horse lorry. So.
Yes. In fact, the horse lorry we had was a 7.5 ton, but it was probably a similar length actually, sort of 25 to 28 feet, that kind of size. So it is a big old vehicle, but super easy to drive. One of the things we have noticed though is clearly there's a motorhome thing, the wave. Every motorhome you see goes, eh, and they wave at you as you go past. Which is like, we feel part of the moho community, don't we?
Do you?
Yeah. You're too cool for that, aren't you?
For sure.
But yeah, so we're just about to leave Ile de Ré, and I thought I'd just do this bit to camera because it's the most spectacular bridge that links Ile de Ré to mainland France, right next to La Rochelle. It is quite a big old bridge. In terms of fuel economy and fuel efficiency, it does about 300 miles to a tank. Let me just see what we're doing on average. See, our average MPG, you're like lucky if you're in the mid-20s. It depends on how fast you're going really, because here we go, our average MPG is 25.6. But it's a big old hoss and it's about as aerodynamic as a house.
Well, it'd be much more fuel efficient when you're driving it than when I am.
Yeah, it is true. Tracy's found all the speed limits and everything. But yeah, look at this bridge. This is amazing. So we're on our way to Tours now. So it's only 2 hours 20 minutes.
2.5 hours at least.
And as if by magic, we've arrived in Tours. I think this is our 5th campsite of the holiday so far. Lovely little pitch, slightly downward slope, so I've just had to put the wedges on again. The girls are having a lovely time. Are you enjoying it? Are you, Das? Is it nice? So yeah, we're all good to go. The interesting one about this, I think we are walking distance to Tours. Temperature's a little bit less, about 22 degrees, but yeah, really nice 2.5 hour drive. Such an easy thing to drive. And we are all grey water's empty, fresh water's full, batteries hooked up, chemical loos nice and empty. We're good to go. So I think what we now need to do is have a beer. Although because it's Tracy's birthday, we might actually have a glass of champagne. So we're now on our way from Tours back to Le Touquet. And actually I've got a show for today. Tracy's driving today. How you getting on, trucker?
Yeah, good.
It's dead easy to drive this thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool actually.
Really, really easy. We got Apple CarPlay. Oh look, my mate Nick Williams has just sent me a message. I wonder what that is. But yeah, we've got this lovely bridge. So today we've already been going like 2.5, 3 hours. We'll be handing over in a minute. Like a pro, you should get your HGV license.
Haha.
Here we go. Pont de Breton. We're going over the Seine. I think we should have some good views coming up here. So this is the bit, we've done quite a lot of péage today. So we're now off on an N road and we're kind of just enjoying the beautiful French countryside. You look over there, got a lovely village. Wow.
They do like their bridges in
They love their
France.
bridges, don't they?
So this lane is for cycles.
Yes. And tractors, look, a cycle and tractor lane. When you can imagine having one of those in the UK?
Hi guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. It's Mrs. PP here. I just thought I'd put the camera on as my able assistant is driving for once. very helpful.
This is Petrol Ped channel Takeover.
I wanted to do a bit of filming to show you the lovely Le Touquet. We are about 5 minutes away from the campsite. It's lovely and sunny here, and we're going to spend potentially a day or two in this area. It's super close to Calais. It takes about 50 minutes to get here, and it's a real attraction for French kind of second homes. It's a really beautiful town, well kept, clean and tidy, lots of cycling, lots of lovely restaurants.
Are you a fan, Trace?
And lots of lovely houses. My favourite pastime.
That's just your favourite thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Very nice houses.
That is pretty much us. It's just so beautifully kept around here.
Yeah, I know. I've said that already. Thanks. It's my bit of the film.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I forgot you've taken the channel over for a moment. Oh, that's nice in there. What's that?
Don't know. There's just lots of big houses everywhere.
Big houses.
Big gardens.
Welcome to Le Touquet. Now, we might have had a slight administrative error. I don't know whether it was lost in translation in my French when I booked the campsite, but I booked the campsite for tomorrow night and they were full. But have no fear, because in Le Touquet there is a place called an aire de camping car. Now, it's basically a big car park with loads and loads of motorhomes parked in it, and you can park up on the side of the road. It's like 20 euros or something, and we're all good. The interesting thing is, though, we don't have any electrical hookup, but this isn't a problem, because before we left the campsite this morning, we topped our water tanks up, we emptied our grey water, we cleaned our toilet out, so we don't need any of that. It's got a leisure battery, and I've put the fridge onto gas, so we should be okay. And the most important thing, where's your wine, Greavesy?
Away.
Been put away, hidden, so you can't see it. Oh, look, the girls. So yeah, we're gonna have a glass of wine and a beer in the sunshine, and then we're gonna head off down that way, because the beach is over there somewhere. And don't worry, the other one's in here somewhere. There she is, look. You're right, dude. Now then, it is now the next day. Our wild camping went really well, although to be honest, it wasn't that wild. The only thing we didn't have was an electrical hookup, and that aire de camping car was brilliant. It was really quiet. There weren't that many kids, which was a major bonus. We're now back at the campsite we should have been at last night, apart from my administrative error, and it is actually our last night in France. We head home tomorrow. We've got a tunnel tomorrow, and then a big long drive back to Barnsley to drop off the motorhome. So I thought I'd draw this video to a close here while Tracy's inside feeding the pups. This is what's called, there's food on the way.
No, this is their last supper.
The last supper. It is their last supper. Now, we've hired this motorhome from Nomad Motorhomes in Barnsley, and I've got to say, James and the gang there are amazing. The service has been superb. James has been on the phone either via text or by FaceTime. I've had only a couple of times where I wasn't quite sure what to do or how to set things up, and I quickly FaceTimed him. I did a reset on I think it was the second night we were away. I had a warning light, and he told me to turn everything off and then turn it back on again, and when I went to turn it back on again, it wouldn't come back up, and it was because I'd done something wrong. So there we go. Look, there's Tracy just giving the pups their dinner. This is the most important time of the day for these two. Look, there we go. Darcy is going to woof that down. Hallie's a far, far slower eater. Anyway, I will put all of the details for Nomad if you are interested in a camping holiday. And this video for me was one of the videos I make for my own memories, but I just wanted to bring you along. I've never reviewed a motorhome before, and I have to say it's been an amazing experience. I'll put Nomad's details below. James was saying they're one of only 2 companies in the UK that will hire something this big, and for the 2 of us, although it's a 4-berth, it's been a perfect size. It's an amazing bit of kit. I have to say, the guys at Adria, they really do, they're cabinet makers, and everything's been so well designed, so well thought through. With the engineer inside me sits in there, and it's just all been thought through in such amazing detail. And Tracey's kind of viewed it from a hospitality point of view, and it's been mega, isn't it, Greaves?
Yeah, super cool.
Just really, really cool. So I will put the details for Nomad Beer Home. It's not a paid promotion or anything, it's just an honest shout out. If you are interested in trying out motorhoming as a holiday and you're in the UK, give Nomad a shout, because you will have an amazing time and a huge adventure. And I'm pretty sure we'll be doing this again. Our learnings, our main learnings from it, next time we'll definitely bring our own bikes with us, because the day we hired a couple of bikes made the day. So we definitely have bikes on the back. And also our learnings are, if you can find campsites that are within a walk of a town, that helps a great deal. Although we had some lovely meals where we cooked ourselves, here in Le Touquet, we are literally in that direction 1.5 kilometers away from the centre of Le Touquet, and it's beautiful. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to draw that to a close. Tomorrow morning we head home, but tonight we head back into Le Touquet for some nice food and just that, the thing I love most about France. But if you enjoyed that, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film. Maybe not a motorhome review, more like a car review, but I'm sure it's going to be fun, whatever it is. You take care, guys. Drive safe.